Now, we know about the so-called peace lines that have divided communities here for such a long time, but what about the peace wall that separated a park in North Belfast for 17 years? It was erected in Alexandra Park to keep rioting factions from nearby Loyalist Tigers Bay and Nationalist Newington apart. But it's a gap that's about to be bridged with the opening of a new gate in the wall later today. In a moment, we'll be hearing from a group which supports this move, but first, this report from Karen Atkinson.
Well, this is the gate that has replaced part of the peace wall here in Alexandra Park. Now, it's just a metal structure, but what it represents, what it symbolises, is a massive step forward in community relations in this interface area.
My name's Kate Clark. I'm the interface worker for Limestone, Newington, New Lodge and Carrickhill.
I'm Sam Cochran and I'm a Tigers Bay Macula resident. Well, the peace wall went up in 1994 because there were clashes between Nationalists and Loyalists, and it got to the stage of hand fighting. There were serious injuries, and I don't think the police had the resources, to keep it going. So it was a breathing space for both communities, because, it got to the point that this was a no man's land.
And it was a no man's land where those determined to cause trouble would go to any length to do so.
At times the kids were digging holes under the fence to get at each other, and a lot of builders were losing their ladders because the kids were stealing them, hiding them in the trees, come back at night to climb over, and that was just to hurt each other, really.
But that was then. Times and community interaction have changed. Sam Cochran and Kate Clark both sit on the steering group that, for the last 2 years, has worked towards making Alexandra Park a shared place. It is still the only public park in Western Europe to have a wall dividing it. But Kate says for 17 years it's been a necessary, if somewhat controversial, part of the scenery.
It just became part of the norm. I mean, you looked at it and it was as if it was put there when the park was here. I think now once people see it open, it'll be a wee bit, it'll be strange for people to see the whole park, because people don't even know what's on the other side, and that's vice versa for both communities. So people will be anxious.
The new Peace Gate, as it's being called, will be open Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m, so not weekends or evenings at this stage. Are people really convinced that it's a positive move? These kids and residents in the Nationalist Newington area had mixed views. We're talking about the new gate. What do you think about that?
Probably going to be fights and all, but I think it's going to happen, because there's too much trouble at the minute, so I reckon there's going to be fights and all.
I think it's a positive step forward. I think a lot of people have some reservations about it in the area just because, of the unknown. I think you have to start slowly. They'll never come down if you don't open it at some stage, so I think it's good to do a trial period and see how it goes and see what people's reactions are. In the part of Alexandra Park used mostly by people from Loyalist Tigers Bay, there were more positive and negative responses.
I don't know, I'm not sectarian or anything, I think it's a good thing.
Do you think it's a step forward?
Definitely.
You're from Tigers Bay, is that right?
Yeah.
What are some of your concerns about this gate?
Cause more trouble.
In what way, or why do you think?
Just Protestant Catholic, they're never going to get on, ever.
So you would use this park a couple of days a week?
Yep.
Would you walk through that gate? Would you use that other part of the park?
No. Adults, it's different. But teenagers, I think, no.
So you'll still be going up to the wall, turning around and going back again?
Yeah, I'll probably not even walk down here no more.
Back beside the park's large fishing pond, interface workers Sam and Kate cite it as one of the features that more people in the area can enjoy because of the new gate. But is a gate enough to move two divided communities closer together? Is there an argument for taking the wall down, or is it about small steps?
We believe in just doing it step by step rather than just going full in, taking the whole fence down and getting it wrong.
People talk about taking peace walls down and doing this and doing that. People need to think about people who are living on interfaces and stuff like that. You need to take the barriers down in people's mind before you move the actual barriers themselves,
A report from Karen Atkinson. And joining us in the studio now, Sylvia Gordon, who's Director of Groundwork Northern Ireland. And Sylvia, you and your organisation have been quite involved in this whole business of the new gate. What's the thinking here exactly?
Well, the thinking here is to support local people, and to support local people to have a vision for their area and for their local Alexandra Park.
Which is a rather lovely park,
It is
isn't
a beautiful old Victorian park, been established in the 1800s, and it is it should be an asset for local people, but unfortunately in the past 17 years it hasn't been that asset for all of those who live in close proximity to Alexandra Park. So there has been restricted access, there has been a poor quality of environment in the park. So now the whole purpose is to make the park itself a safe, accessible place for people to come and enjoy.
We heard from quite a few people there, some of whom were sceptical about whether the two sides will get on once this gate is open. But I suppose just having a gate in the wall, it's a softly approach, it's a trial, I gather. You're just testing the water, I suppose. Yes,
we are testing the water, and I think it's very, courageous of local people to test the water. Like, it is local people who give that leadership and who are very transformative whenever it comes to their vision. So it is about building confidence, and I think it's interesting that we heard there, particularly from young people, about their fears in terms of ongoing issues and their safety. So obviously that's a challenge for the Alexandra Park Steering Group over the next 3 months as part of the pilot, to work with young people, to work with schools and youth clubs in relation to that particular issue.
To what extent can it be policed, this, in as much as it's a park and you don't want too much security, but there will be those youths who are out to look for trouble and will take an advantage, no doubt, of this gate, and that's going to be a problem maybe. I mean, I see, for instance, it's going to be shut at weekends.
Yeah, and that's why it is a pilot, and that's why the PSNI, the police service, will need to be doing a continuous security assessment on the gate. So they're involved. It wouldn't have opened unless they had said, yes, it's a good thing to open this gate and it's safe to open this gate. So we're doing that, and the local community are doing that in collaboration with Belfast City Council and their Park Warden scheme, doing it in collaboration with the Police Service for Northern Ireland. So I think it's very interesting that we have that joined up approach at the local level, which does give something very practical and pragmatic back to local people.
Sylvia Gordon, thanks very much for coming in.
My pleasure, thank you.